right, hey everyone, and welcome back to the PuddyMod YouTube channel. And on the channel today is this Ap2 Prop Shaft for Honda S2000. I've made a few of these videos already, but they don't get old, not to me anyway. And this one is a little bit more updated, so you guys know what's going on when it comes to these prop shafts and what you have to do in order to resolve, a vibration issue that is in your car caused by, your prop shaft. These things are obsolete as far as I know, and the last time they sold by Honda, they were in the thousands of dollars, and I'm not talking like 1,000 and change, I'm talking like 2,000 plus for one of these prop shafts. And the issue with them when they start to go bad is this: you cannot move that joint. That joint's locked up, so it's not going to articulate like you want it to. So this shaft here, this is an eBay special, bought for just this purpose to do a rebuild on. And this one's a little bit better, but it's still got a pretty heavy catch in it. The other one is without two hands, it's locked up, it's bad. What we're going to do is we're going to replace the bearings on this shaft. There's nothing wrong with the main shaft. That can last 1,000,000 miles. There's nothing to really wear there. But the bearings, on the other hand, though, that's a whole different story. So they do wear out. This is a brand new bearing, as you can see. This is custom machined to fit the S2000 prop shaft. So when you put these on, they fit onto the spline as they should. You can lock them down with the original band clamp that's in here. It's reusable. You repack this with a number 2 synthetic grease. You don't want to overpack it. It doesn't really take that much, just a few ounces, and it's good to go. You seal it with a Honda Bond sealer or sealant. It's on this side already. I'm going to go ahead and I'll reseal this side once it's on the shaft, repacked, and we'll put the cap on it. Now, if you have an AP1 S2000, that's a 99 to 2003 S2000, and your shaft is, giving you trouble, unfortunately, that shaft cannot be repaired. It cannot do anything with it. The spline count, or spline actually, is just different. It's a different size than the AP2 spline, which is what this is. They're both the same spline count. The problem is they're just a little bit different. That AP1 is kind of like a one-off that Honda did. There's nothing out there that will, fit onto that spline. So unfortunately, that shaft, this part right here, is no good. You can't do anything with it. You just got to get rid of it. If you have an AP1 car like we're talking about, and you need that new shaft, you have to get an AP2 shaft to start with. And then from there, we can go ahead and put new bearings on it and then supply you with the right hardware so you can be plug and play. You don't have to change the flanges on your transmission or your differential. These bolts here are a step bolt. These will allow you to step down to an AP1 size, which is 8mm, as you can see here. So, and then the shank of this bolt is 10mm. So everything fits into your bearing as it should. You can see here, like that. And but on the other end, it'll fit your AP1 car, which is a really nice little tricky piece of hardware right there. And this is what it would look like once it's set up for your AP1 car, so you have a good idea what you're dealing with here. So yeah, it's gonna work. No problem, plug and play. No need to screw around with, changing flanges or, the nightmare of what to do, or trying to hokey put AP1 bolts through an AP2, and it's not going to balance out right. It's going to cause you trouble. Another note for that balancing thing, just as an FYI, I'm going to mention this again in this video. See this letter F here? That is for front. That's what that stands for. That means the transmission end of the shaft. There is a difference between the transmission end and the differential end. They will go in the car if you turn this thing around and put it in backwards. It don't fit right, but it will fit. And you're going to find out the hard way that it wasn't right, because it's going to vibrate like a son of a gun going down the road. So that's what the F is for, to let you know that that's the end that you need to put towards your transmission. Well, anyway, I'm going to continue on with this video as soon as I get this shaft up into the vise here, so I can start removing these bearings, and you can see what that's all about and what that looks like. All right, we're up in the vise. We're working on the transmission end, the front end of this prop shaft, and I wanted to show you guys something here. This is the differential input flange, and this is the end for the transmission. See, these are the same. I just have an extra one, and if you put them together, you'll see that they do not mate. This register doesn't mate with this register. It will mate with the differential end, but not on the transmission end, even though you can put it together, and people have, and then they find out the hard way that you're out of balance and the car doesn't work very well. It's vibrating down the road, which sucks. Okay, anyway, what's held on are these right here. These fasteners hold this cap on. They are a 5mm socket head cap screw. So you just remove them with a 5mm drive, and then tap on the bottom of here, and then you can pop the cap off, and you can see that this thing is roasty toasty. There's a clip underneath all that grease. We're going to remove that clip, and then we're going to remove the band that holds the boot on underneath here, and then we're going to slip this bearing off. Stand by. All right, wanted to show you guys what that clip looks like, and this is the tool that you would be removing that clip with. And let's see if I can do this in one hand. Well, if I could see, I could probably do it. There it goes, look at that. Well, I gotta go find it now. Well, anyway, that's what you do. You pop it off, and then after that, this thing should pop up, and if it doesn't, like this has a tight spline, we're going to use an extractor, and I'll extract this off that spline. Sometimes they'll lift right off, no problem at all. Other times you have to use another type of tool, like a bearing extractor, and take it off that spline. Stand by. All right, we are popped off the spline. We have the band released here, and all you do at this point now is I'll just pull that back and just turn it a little bit, and I'll work that up around until I get it completely loose off this boot, like that. Spin that, and there it is, all done. Now this will go into the filing department here. Done. And yeah, there we go. Let's get this cap cleaned up, get this spline and all that cleaned up, and we'll install our new bearing. All right, we have the cap cleaned up, and I want to show you guys inside here. There's some damage in this cap, and we're going to have to do some repair work on that, get it all smoothed out. It's not damaged beyond use, it's just been gouged. The way they manhandled it out of the car at the boneyard and bottomed out the old bearing into this cap and damaged it, so we're going to just have to fix it up. All right, stand by. All right, we got this all greased up here to accept the boot. If you order them, it doesn't matter which one you use, as long as you get your cap correct for your differential end or your transmission end. That's what's key. So this is our transmission end. As you know, it was damaged a little bit. We fixed it. There's your F or front. That's your transmission end. So we're going to be putting all that together right now. So this is what it looks like when you're ready to set up your clamp. There's a barbed end on here, so you go over the barbed end and it fits right into that natural groove. So you'll see that. I'll show it to you on the other end when I do the other end. It's the same. And then we'll just slide over this original clamp. Like I said, these are reusable. You just push right inside here with a screwdriver, fold it over. You can hold it with a pair of pliers to keep it in place. And fold your little tabs right here back over into place, and you're good to go. Next, we're going to pack it with grease. We're going to grease our spline. We're going to put some grease down into the boot area down below, and then we're going to pack that bearing. And what you're going to be using is, for a DIY, do-it-yourself kind of guys, over-the-shelf stuff, this is excellent to use. This is Valvoline full synthetic bearing grease. This is the go-to stuff. Now, we do our own formulation here in the shop, which is inside this particular can, but this is exactly what you want to use. it's going to work out really good for you. It really doesn't take a lot, just a few ounces to fill the bearing, and we'll go ahead and do that, and I'll show you what that looks like. All right, we have the bearing in place. Now you'll have to tap on this to get it down onto the spline. You can use a black socket for that. You don't want to use a chrome one. And tap it down, get it down below the line for the clip. Put your clip back in place. We've already packed the underside of this bearing into the boot with some grease, and now we're going to go ahead and pack the bearing. All right, we have our cap all Honda bonded in, and this will go right on real nice and neat and clean. I put a little extra in the pin areas just to make sure we're sealed good there. And I've got our fasteners ready to go over here. There we go. Right there, perfect. You want to go down evenly, and then that's it. I won't mess with it or anything. Because I don't want to contaminate the Honda bond, so I won't articulate that joint or anything until tomorrow. And let me get it cleaned up, and then I'll flip it and do the differential end. All right, we're getting ready to put the differential end bearing on right now, and I wanted to show you guys, this is that barb I was telling you about. So when you lower this bearing and you get this boot down on there, you want to make sure that that boot is down below that barb. So when you set this clamp, it sets down below that barb, and it keeps this from wanting to rise up. There really isn't any real pressure on any of this stuff. So as long as it's just below this, the clamp is put in place correctly, you won't have any problems with anything coming apart on you. All right, let me go ahead and put the bearing on. All right, there you go. It's in place. See, there's your recessed area for that band. The barb, once you get it down to that position, that barb is just above that band now, right where you want it to be. Then we're going to go ahead and lock this band around and get it clipped into place, and then that will be secure. And then we'll go ahead and grease the spline and pack the inside of that boot with a little bit of grease, and then we'll go ahead and pack the bearing next. All right, we greased our spline. We put a little bit of bearing grease down inside the boot. We have our clip in place, and now we're ready to pack this differential end bearing. Finished putting the Honda bond seal on the differential end cap here, and everything's super clean, and we're all packed properly, and now we just have to put our cap on. A little extra Honda bond on those end cap dowel pins, because it just helps to make sure we get a proper seal there. And let me see if I can get this lined up. There we go. And now we'll go ahead and put our fasteners into place. And get the drive here. tightened up. Now we'll get the excess Honda bond out of the holes here for our fasteners. I just use a scribe, and I'll just go around inside there like this and get the Honda bond out, wipe it on a rag, go around the outside here, clean all that up, and then I'll let this rest overnight. So stand by for the end of the video when I have this all finished, and check it out. All right, everyone, welcome to the next day, and we're all finished up with the prop shaft here with its new bearings installed, and everything is dry and ready to go. It's ready for install. We'll let it rest overnight so that Honda bond seal has time to cure up. I got some of this AP1 to AP2 to AP1 hardware installed here, so you can kind of see how that looks. And then it comes out this end here, and you're all set for AP1. And if you have AP2, you don't need that, because all these bearings are going to start out as AP2. So this is a plug and play for AP2, and if you have AP1, you would just ask for the corresponding hardware so you can use put this in your car, your AP1 car, and it's plug and play. Wanted to show you this as well. This is the differential input flange. It mates right up. As you can see, it's got a perfect lock there, and so that register mates right up to the shaft, and that's how you know you're on the correct end. This end has the letter F for front. I'm thinking about switching that up to T. The factory put the letter F for front on there, but I think maybe the letter T for transmission might be a little bit easier to relate to. And you can see if you try to put the differential in, you put this in your car and you put it in backwards, you'll see that the registers don't mate. Okay, you can install it still, you can line up the screws and make it work, but this thing's kind of floating around, and it's going to cause a vibration if you do install that shaft backwards. So you don't really want to do that. You want to make sure that you definitely put this in the front portion of your car, your transmission end, so everything works like it's supposed to. Next thing we got to show you is how nice this bearing articulates now, nice and smooth. So you're going to have many years of good service here. We're not going to have any more trouble. That's the shaft, and hope you enjoyed the video. Please stand by for a new video coming soon on a differential or something like that. Stay tuned. Thanks for viewing. Thanks for tuning in. Ask questions. Ask me how, whatever. But yeah, this is a AP2 drive shaft that can be outfitted for AP1, all brand new bearings. This is essentially a brand new drive shaft when you put these bearings on. It's just like taking one out of the box fresh from Honda, which unfortunately is not a thing anymore. You can't do. So, in luck, we can make this happen for you guys, and I'm really happy that it can be done. And yeah, thanks for watching, and I'll see ya.